So, a man has recently been taken to court over something that's actually quite minor, or at least seemed quite minor. He told another man in this country, in public, that he was going to make love to him. Now, I kind of read the entire story because it was like a newspaper article or some shit, and like I can get that's gay shit, but what? What?
Get ready for the battle of the sexes.
Okay, the reason why I'm kind of saying what two times instead of like the entire, like just understand, oh, it's probably some gay shit. It isn't gay shit at all. The way they said it, first of all, he didn't just say that he'd make love to him. Apparently, according to court documents, he was also trying to say he'll make love to his mother. Now, the funny thing about all of this is this sounds like email language when you actually think about it. Just like for a little bit of a second, this is email language for saying fuck you and fuck your mother. Like, just think about it for a second. It's like those times when you are trying to tell somebody on email that you work with that their idea is shit. And then you write an email saying, thank you very much, but I feel as though our ideologies are clashing in terms of the efficiency of the results that they would be generating. So I would like that you revisit your methodology a little bit so that you can come through with something that's a little bit more plausible. That's just a way of saying fuck your idea. Like, that's the shit that people with emails usually do each and every time when they're at work because they have to maintain policy. Like, why can't the newspaper just say that a man was taken to court because of saying fuck you? Because even when you look at the kind of sentence that he had, he was sentenced to I don't know how many days in jail or a 5,000 bob fine. Like, it's not even that big, but if you blow it up and you add enough weird words in between, it'll always turn out big. But anyways, that aside, we do have a podcast to start. I have a ton to talk about, and I usually like to start in my very typical fashion, where I start by saying, welcome to Breaktime on Westside, your number one breaktime podcast, coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya. The man on the mic is a man who might want to fuck your mother. At least that one is an email language, so at least if I say it, at least it's direct. He's a man who likes his women the same exact way he likes his yogurt. It is none other than your tall, dark, and mildly handsome man, Sir Denver B. The show is Battle of the Sexes, our weekly love, sex, and relationships show, where I get to talk about people banging mothers. People usually disagree. Sometimes I might actually be really, really serious about that, Jack, but sometimes I also come through with a conclusion. Actually, every single time I come through with a conclusion. And if you do agree with the topics or with the conclusion, or if you disagree, then you know how to hit me up. On Instagram, it is at Breaktime on Westside. On Facebook, it is also at Breaktime on Westside. And on Twitter, you can slide into my personal DMs, which is at Bagaka the D. And I will take whatever it is that you've said and I will handle it accordingly. And sometimes I might ignore it, but it's always good when you send me something and I ignore it. At least makes me feel important for a little bit. But now I want to get into the main topic, but before I do that, I want to say a couple of things first. First of all, it's been 12 episodes of Battle of the Sexes this season, which means it's a season finale, but it doesn't mean that it's the end. We're literally on episode 96. We're like, I don't know, 4 episodes from episode 100? I don't even know why the hell I had to think that through, but we're about 4 episodes away from episode 100, so that's definitely coming through. Unfortunately, we won't be having Fan of a Fan this time due to certain circumstances here and there, which I am not at liberty to explain. I hope that sounds like good email language for a bit. And, well, we're gonna continue doing this shit because we've been doing this shit since day one. This is the oldest series we've got. But that said, we should probably move it on. And normally before I get into the main topic of today, there's usually a rant somewhere. I usually have a problem with something, or there's something that I usually want to discuss. But for the sake of this episode and for the sake of the main topic, I kind of figured, let me not even put it there. And it's because I stumbled upon something that I realized might require so much time. And it was the idea of cheating. And yes, I know I've spoken about cheating, 5 million times, or at least probably 80% of Battle of the Sexes, if not 70. So yes, it sounds like it's something that's a little bit much, but there's this huge question that people usually like asking all the time. Who cheats more? Who's better at cheating? Who's the worst cheater? And normally whenever I hear that, I'm like, you know what? Oh, it could be men, it could be women. It's a bit hard to decide for many various reasons. But the funny thing is, most people don't usually try to find that out, and they usually just come up with assumptions. But while I was just chilling this weekend, somebody sent me a clip of a radio recording that was on YouTube from Classic 105, a Kenyan radio station, and it was them talking about women cheating. And there was this woman that called in, and I'd like to play the clip for you, but the entire clip on YouTube is 17 minutes. It's from the entire radio show. Not worth me putting here. That's the entire podcast, honestly. And the clip of the woman talking is like, I don't know, maybe 3-4 minutes, which is more than the time that I usually give. But anyways, I'll just kind of brush over what she said real quick. So she called and she was talking about how the reason why guys get caught cheating is because they're usually all like hesitating, and they usually like act different once they start cheating, which yes, is actually true. And then she went on to talk about how she usually cheats and how she's been in a marriage for 8 years, and she's been cheating for quite a long time. She's been having a thing with her ex. They've been dating for however long. They usually go on like 2 dates a month. And apparently her daughter is the ex's kid and her son is the husband's kid. Then on top of that, like, while she's been doing all of this, the husband doesn't know that she's cheating. The ex doesn't know that she's married. Trust me, it's it's a very interestingly shocking thing to hear. Not just because it's a woman, but just how bold and confident she is. And because I obviously couldn't put the clip here, I've actually left a link to the YouTube video itself so that you can go and listen. And what happened was she just went on talking about how she's been doing it for such a long time and the man has never been able to find out. And she was being asked, how is it that the ex is unable to know that she's married? And she's like, well, we both stay at different places, of course, and when he calls, I just tell him that I'm busy with my things. We even video call, and he doesn't know that my husband is there, because usually my husband isn't home by that time, and I can manage to do the video call comfortably. I only have one number and I talk to both men. So maybe I should come out and start answering the question as to why it is that she can do that. Maybe because I've been doing this for such a long time, talking about cheating, maybe I should look at why it is men cheat a certain way and get caught, and women cheat a certain way and probably don't get caught. And maybe the first question is it that men cheat more? Probably, kind of. A bit hard to say, to be honest, because you think about it, we can cheat with more women, but women can probably cheat for longer. Like, let me say it like that. It's a case of extensity versus intensity, if I can kind of put it that way. Because yes, I have spoken about how, a man can cheat on you with multiple women or can cheat on you with one woman for a long time. And I've explained the differences on that. And when it comes to cheating, if you are saying, who can do it for longer to make them a better person at cheating, then you could say the woman. Because for us guys, we'll be oblivious. My shorty could have been cheating for me like hell. All of my girlfriends, I believed, or at least I believed, were faithful. Actually, I still do believe that they were faithful. But if they all cheated, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have known. The way I think about it, the way I've looked at it, is for me as a man, it's harder for me to notice because it's just not in my DNA to be looking for some of those details. But like, let me just look into the whole extensity versus intensity thing. Like, for us guys, we can go and bang one different babe 5 times a week, 4 times in a month. Like, we can sleep with 20 different women besides our wife. And you can say that we cheat more because of that. Like, we can bang 20 different babes and be properly okay. But most babes, you won't find them doing that. Like, 1, 2, maybe 3. at the point they're crossing 3, they're probably feeling like they're a little bit whorish, if you actually ask me. Like, most of them will probably feel like they're doing it a little bit too much. So most babes will probably get like one guy or maybe 2 guys, and then they'll stick to that and they'll go with those guys for a long time. And it makes it such that for us guys, we might look like we cheat more because we'll do it with more women, but the women might also say that they do it more because they do it for a longer time, and we probably won't notice that shit. And when you look at how it is that we'll cheat, like we'll just go and we'll bang a babe and we'll go back home, but like the way that woman had said that us guys start to act different, like it is actually in our DNA when you think about it, because a babe can get banged like an hour before she gets to the house, checks into the house, goes, chills with the husband, they go to bed, husband wants to fuck, she's down. Who will know the difference? Then you look at a guy. This guy has gone, he's pumped out his 2 rounds. Nigga has gone, clapped cheeks and given his everything. But for some reason, it's like once he goes home, it's not like he'll be able to perform the same exact way. So if this guy is a 5-second man, if this guy's favorite movie is gone in 60 seconds, if his favorite band is 30 seconds on Mars, if he's about a good time, not a long time, when this guy's going in for 30 straight minutes in you, you'll know very well it's either he dropped his nut somewhere or he's just not interested. Both of those things cause an alarm. So in a sense, yeah, it would be easier for her to find out that I'm cheating. Like, I wouldn't be able to find out from her. Like, I've heard stories of a babe going and having a guy bang her raw and like nut inside, and then go back to the boyfriend who happens to be horny, and before he hits, he wants to go down on her. Ugh. Like, what the fuck? I don't know how people do this though, but it is actually something that happens. And honestly, like, this is why I get scared of going down on a babe sometimes, because if it ain't morning and she's not from the shower, I don't know what nigga's nuts been in there though. It's hard out here, fellas. It's hard. But anyways, that was a quick side note though. Like, you think about it, yes, in our DNA it does make it harder for us to cheat that way, but I feel like also for babes, they make it harder for us to cheat. And I'm not talking about them focusing on details. Like, that shit we know about. They'll look for the details, we'll look for the highlights. Like, we know very well that if we're going to hit a babe, like we're hitting, nothing too big. As long as I'm back home at the same exact time, maybe even a variation of 30 minutes, I can say that it was traffic or I had some work to do. But she'll smell the extra cologne, she'll notice that you probably don't want to eat. Or maybe you guys are in bed and she'll notice that you're probably fucking her for a little bit too long. Or maybe you're not interested in banging. And yeah, those are details that she'll definitely notice. For me, if I get home and she says she didn't feel like eating, I won't bother. If she has a different scent on, not unless if it's distinctly a guy's scent, then I probably will not ask anything. And when she wants to bang, or at least when I want to bang, and she decides to give it up, she just has to be wet. If she's not wet, she can just say she's not feeling it, and we'll just go get some lube or some shit. And I think that is something else that makes it harder for us guys to notice that she's cheating. Plus also, us guys focus on the highlights. Like, go and look at guys when they're talking about football or when they're talking about anything, even sex. Like, just look at it and like pay attention and observe guys. Oh, there was this fine babe, she was doing blah blah blah. Bro, that's a way that shorty could ride. My goodness, bruh, she did that coconut shit. She did the coconut. And us guys will lose our shit over that. But if you listen to babes talking about how they received the dick, the detail, it's like her friends will know exactly how she felt when she was taking it. explains why some of those best friends usually come back for a little bit of that D, but that's besides the point. Like, the fact that they focus on details and we focus on highlights does make it particularly clear why it is that us guys will just suck when it comes to figuring out whether she's cheating or not. But there's something else. Like, when you look at how babes will play the possession game, when you look at how guys try to create that value, it makes its way into cheating, and it makes it such that for us guys it's easier to get caught than it is for the babes. Because when you think about it, babes will play possession. Like, babes will be possessive and guys will probably just fuck. Because at the end of the day, when you look at guys and women, when it comes to that nature and in dating, men have to create that value, women have to preserve theirs. For us, when we're dating a babe, like, you'll find guys will be willing to take her out to her favorite restaurants, will be willing to take her out on trips, will be willing to drive her home. Some guys can buy her a car, some guys can buy her a house or some shit. Like, guys will go above and beyond to show that they are worth being dated. They will have to create the value system that would be like, all right, if I drop him, then I get to lose this. With shorties, it's more about preserving that shit, which is why you will find that if you guys are starting to have a thing, then she'll want to be seen with you a little bit more. When you guys have gone to bang, she doesn't mind, dousing her face in makeup and, hugging you when you have a white shirt on. She doesn't mind, like, cooking for you and making sure you're all good. So when you leave and you're going back somewhere else, it's like you're already better off than you came. Like, they're trying to preserve the fact that this is my nigga and he was here, so no one else should step in. And that shit makes its way into cheating. Cause, like, when us niggas are going to cheat on a babe, like, we smash a babe, she'll be like, oh, how about you take a shower, I wanted to massage your feet, let me give you a nice back rub, blah blah blah. You take a shower, she'll give you the soap that has her scent. She'll pretty much take a shower in body spray and hug you, then her scent is lingering on your body. She will feed you, even though we can actually even just take the feeding out of the entire equation. But she'll even have the makeup on when she meets you at work, say it's somebody from work, and she'll be like, oh my goodness, oh, I'm not feeling so good, I need a hug. She goes, she hugs you, and she puts her face on your white shirt. Then obviously there's, the old school soap thing of, like, having the lipstick on, like, the collar. Like, we've seen that shit since day one. So to a certain degree, it's like they've left their mark and they're preserving that territory. Now look at guys. We just want to show that we're the best guy when it comes to doing the job. So we'll just fuck. We'll fuck and we'll fuck. We will give the best pipe work we can. We do not want to underperform, and overperforming and underpromising is probably what we're trying to aim at. Even though we're there for a good time, not a long time. I'd rather give you 5 minutes of the best pleasure of your life than an hour of just straight up strokes that you won't enjoy. Shit like that. Sounds like bullshit, but shit like that. Now, when it comes to the point of discovering, she'll see the makeup, she'll notice you're full, she will smell the other woman's scent. But for you, are you going to smell the dick? Will you see a mileage count? Like, there is nothing to actually show that she was actually, like, with someone else. So you'd have to be keen, and she'd have to have, like, a complete change in behavior, which honestly at that point, maybe you should be asking yourself if she wants you to know, or she's become so comfortable that she's become sloppy at it. And when it comes down to it, like, it's very hard for us guys to figure out if our babe is cheating or not. Plus, when you kind of pay attention to it, we won't be able to focus on those details. We won't. We focus on the highlights. She'll focus on the details. Because the reason why I'll focus on the highlights is because I have to go and chase the big shit. I have to go out there and, like, chase the bread. Bring the meal back home. I have to be able to do that, and I can't do that and focus on what's at home both at the same time. Not unless if I want to be inefficient at doing one. Well, actually, at all. Like, I could be a jack of all trades, but I'll be a master of none. So I'd rather be a master of one and a jack of one piece of shit. So maybe for us, it's a lot harder. And maybe for babes, they can be able to do it for a lot longer because it's a lot harder for us to notice. But in conclusion, the big question, again, who's better at it? Men or women? Honestly, why the fuck are we trying to find out? Like, why? Honestly, why are we trying to show who's better at being promiscuous, at breaking a promise? Like, honestly speaking, like, even, fuck it, kill the instrumentals right about now. Like, why the hell is it so important that people find out who cheats better, a man or a woman? Both of those shits are bad. Like, it's like people asking who lies more, men or women. Like, men will tell the most lies, but women will probably have the biggest ones, as Chris Rock once said. Because why is that a big thing? Why is it that people are so hell-bent on showing that, you know, they might think that they're a player, they being the other side, but we're the coaches or we're the leader of the team? Like, how is it that we suddenly want to find out who it is that cheats more? Probably we should start asking ourselves if that's something that we really want to find out, because at the end of the day, both sides are wrecking the household. Both sides are wrecking the relationship when you think about it. And honestly, like, yes, maybe she'll notice that I cheated. And yes, maybe I might cheat a lot. But if she's doing the same thing, then we're both doing something bad. And when I think about it, it's like back in the day, like I can remember there was this thing that babes flat out came and said isn't attractive. Like when people were trying to impress other people by showing how much liquor they can take. The whole thing of, you know, you're going, both of you guys are like, or a bunch of you guys are all trying to show that, oh, I can take this much liquor. At the end of the day, it's pretty much the same exact problems. You end up spending so much for nothing, and you end up still having lost because at the end of the day, you are trying to compare something that people didn't really care about, that people really shouldn't be focusing on. But then again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there should be a measure of who cheats more. Maybe there are actually people that do want to find out about this shit. And maybe they're willing to go out and cheat just to find out. Either way, you're not doing your relationship any service. You're probably just breaking another heart. You could be wrecking another home. And at the end of it, the win isn't worth the struggle. Or at least that's how I see it. But I want to know your thoughts on this. The DMs are open on IG. It is at Breaktime on Westside. On Facebook, it is also at Breaktime on Westside. And on Twitter, you can slide into my personal DMs, which is at BagakaTheD. Thank you so much for listening all the way till the end. And if you are listening through Castbox, feel free to drop your thoughts and comments below. If you are listening through some other app that allows for ratings and reviews, please feel free to drop your rating and review because I will greatly appreciate it. And if you are watching this on video, thank you so much for watching, considering liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I will catch you guys on the next break.